Hi, friends. So today I'm welcoming you to join my live. So I've not done any live like for the past 2 weeks or three. As you all know, I've been busy with the application process for the March season this year, and so far it's been a little stressful. But yeah, I'm back again, and hopefully today we can talk about some USMLE and the journey. You all can join and ask any questions that you have about the USMLE. If you need anything, if you need to know anything about the USMLE, yes, you can ask right here. If there are any questions, you can type it in the comments as well. You can also join live if you want to join the chat room. You can join live, and I'll share the link right here. Let me see if you want to join the chat room. Okay. I'm gonna keep the link right here. If you want to join the chat room, you can join. Hi guys. So you're welcome to join me. So we are here to discuss the USMLE, all the steps, step 1, step 2 mostly. I'm here to start prepping for step 3. And I've gotten my resources ready. Got my USMLE, the UWorld ready. And just putting some things together and also prepping for my interview at the same time. And so if you have any questions, you can ask. May I know where you are watching from? Just let me know where you're watching from, which part of the world you're watching from. And can I know? Just to have an idea and what step you are writing, what step you are studying for right now. You can just put in the comment for me. I would really appreciate it. Yes, you're welcome to join us. So in the comment box, if you can let me know which country you're watching from and what step you are prepping for, I'll really appreciate it. Okay, Pakistan studying for step 1. Zumi, you are welcome to join us. And so we have Sumi from Pakistan. We also have Frugal, not cheap. You are from, so happy for you, from Indiana, US. Prepping for step 2 CK. Yes, of course, I'm happy for you also, because of course the journey is not that easy, and hopefully you also get to my level one day. I've been at your level before. I've been there before. I've been through the journey. Like, I know it's really not easy. So you'll all get to this level one day. Next person is from Pakistan, studying for step 1. Yes, brother, you're welcome to join us. So if you have any questions about step 1, step 2, you can ask. Currently, I wrote my step 1, I think on August 30, and sorry, my step 2, actually not step 1. Step 1 was last year. And so August 30, and then I got my score back in September, and then I had to quickly apply for residency March, and I submitted my application. And currently, I'm just waiting for. I got a couple of the interviews, some of the programs that I like, and yeah, I really like them. Most of them are university hospitals, and that's really what I wanted. So yes, I got what I wanted. So I'm prepping right now for the interviews. That's what I've been doing. That's what's kept me away a little bit. So you're all welcome to join. So the first question from here, from Frugal, you say you are studying for step 2. So you were asking about what do you think about divine intervention podcast? So let's hit this straight away. I've said this before. Personally, when I started studying for the step 2, yes, I watched the first podcast I watched. It was 3 main podcasts that I watched. I watched Divine Intervention. I watched Dr. High Yield, and I also watch Emma Holiday videos. So basically, for all of them, especially for Divine and Emma Holiday, it got to this level where like when I began studying for the step 2 immediately, like I needed to remind myself of a lot of concepts. I also needed to know some concepts like without reading them from YouTube. So basically, like I did their podcast. If I'm going to the library, I'll listen. If I come back home, if I'm driving somewhere, I'll listen to that. In my holiday, when I'm in my living room, I'll listen. So what it does is that it helps you to, like, it just builds some concept for you, even if you have not met it in the questions yet. But for Dr. High Yield, I also did that. But getting to, let's say, like the last 4 weeks of my prep, I also did Dr. High Yield. But when it was getting the last 4 weeks, I felt like I had like I had, what word should I use? Like I had graduated from divine videos. That's how I felt. I felt like my knowledge base was more like more higher than, like I needed more information than what he was telling me. Like, let me put it that way. I needed more information than what he was telling me. So yes, for the beginning of your prep, I'll say watch Divine is good. Also watch Dr. High Yield is also very good. As for Dr. High Yield, you can watch him throughout your prep because he has very high yield concepts that are standard UWorld, and also you might meet some of them. So yes, I'll say watch them. They are good. But you also need to graduate from them. You understand? Yeah. Let's look at the next question. So Fruga, he's offering NBME strategy course for $25. What do you think about it? So frankly speaking, I don't want to spoil his business, but I don't think it's anything important. I did not have to do anything like that. I know people who did it and they shared with me, they did not benefit so much from it. But hey, it might help somebody, but I did not have to do it. And I don't think it's a must. If you've done step 1 already, you know how the things are. Just learn based on differential diagnosis, like try to compare things, like is which like what is close to what can confuse you on the exam. Okay, there's no strategy other than like what you know, your knowledge base. It's more about the knowledge base. If you know the information, yes, you will get the answer and move forward. So I wouldn't say there's no strategy of choosing right or wrong questions. We've done step 1 already, and we know what the USMLE is about. So it's more about your knowledge base. That's what I would say. Let's look at the next question. So Zumi, you're saying I struggle a lot with GI related questions in UWorld, and I have watched Boss and Beyond. I feel like I can't pick out. So yes, GI is one of those topics that it sounds like it's easy, but it's one of the most difficult subjects in the USMLE. I would say it's one of the most difficult subjects. So GI is, the confusing things are the physio and pathology. For pathology, what I will say is, if you're studying for step 1, I will say make Anki flashcards of the conditions. It's mostly about associations. The associations are what I usually confuse people. So if you can make Anki flashcards of them and see them continually, it will really be helpful, because it seems simple, but it's broad. That's the problem with GI. So you want to make flashcards and be seeing the flashcards every now and then. Okay. I hope that answers your question. If it did not, please. So yes, you said it's hard to pick out the diseases from the questions, especially liver pathology and gallbladder related disorders. Yes. So for gallbladder related disorders, it's usually about jaundice, right? Like obstructive jaundice. You have to be able to tell the type of jaundice that they are talking about, right? If it's obstructive, like if you have a pale stool, it means that no bile is coming into your GI tract. That's why you're having a pale stool. So you have to really listen to the question, and then like you have to understand the physio of the flow of bile and the storage of bile. So I would say like you have to like learn the physio very well, like find YouTube videos that explain the physio well, and you should be able to picture the anatomy of the biliary system in order to get questions right when it comes to the biliary system, because it's kind of complex. You don't memorize to understand it. You have to really learn it and understand. You understand? So yes, that's what you have to do. I hope this answers your question. You really have to go back to the basics, find YouTube videos that discuss the anatomy of the systems, and you should be able to also draw it so that you can picture it when you are doing any question. That's the simplest way, just like cardio. You cannot get questions right if you don't know, if you cannot like think and then like send yourself inside the heart to be able to know like what is passing through where, which valve is the blood crossing at the time in order to be able to pick it. So that is important. You have to go back to your basics and understand the anatomy and physio of the system. Then you can pick questions. When it comes to diseases, yes, you have to do some flashcards for the disease as well. Yeah. Now let's see who is next. Teletubbies. I'm in a situation where I will be taking step 2 before step 1. Any advice? Yes. So if you are taking step 2 before step 1, one thing I can tell you for sure is that there are going to be some step 1 information that would definitely show on step 2. So if I were you, I'll find those high yield topics that needs a lot of differentiation and they are confusing. Like if you take the glycogen storage diseases, you want to really memorize everything because they are really step 1, but they can show on step 2. Immunodeficiency conditions, they are in like step 1 mainly, but they can show on step 2. Hematology and oncology, step 1, but they can show on step 2. So if you can get those topics down, then it's good, right? And then if there is anything that you don't understand, I will say just go to the step 1 lecture video or step 1 book and learn it real quick, because there are a lot of information that I think repeat, like about 40% of the information on step 2 are from step 1. So my advice is, if you don't understand anything and then you have to learn it from step 1, don't hesitate, just go back and learn it. Okay, and that'll be helpful. I hope that answers your question. Okay, let's see this one. Dr. Hild, is that a podcast too? Yes, Dr. Hild is a podcast. And I think, like, from my experience, it looks like most of them are from, he made them from UWorld flashcards. Is it flashcard or UWorld tables? Let me say that, UWorld tables. So, yes, if you are doing Dr. Hild, then you are highly likely to score high on UWorld. So, yes, I'll say watch Dr. Hild. I think currently he is a surgery resident in one of the programs. So, yes, and it's one of the podcasts. So it's on YouTube. You can look for it, Dr. Hild. Let's see the next one. Someone says it. Okay, let's see the next one. Okay, you are welcome. You're welcome. Okay, someone says, what, Teletubby, should I give first aid step 1 a quick read? Okay, so you said, I mean, if you have time, it will be good. But one thing about the first aid is that it's like, what term do we use for something that can evaporate? It's volatile, you know. The first aid is really volatile. So if you just read, you can read it 1 month or 2-3 months, you're not going to remember anything. So for me, my advice to you is, if you are doing UWorld and you meet a question that needs you to refer to first aid, then you take advantage of that time to read that chapter in first aid, right? But if you want to just grab first aid and read everything, you'll just be spending your time and you're not going to remember anything, because the information are a lot. They are really a lot. So let UWorld direct you to the first aid. If you miss any question, just take your first aid and look for that section of the question that you look for the information, memorize it, create flashcard out of it, and be seeing it. Capture the whole book, like that page that you missed the question. Capture it into your flashcard so that you keep seeing it over and over. And in your exam, you'll be able to pick the answers out. I hope that answers your question, Teletubbies. You are welcome. You are welcome, Fugal, not cheap. Teletubbies, yeah, you are welcome. Now let's see this question. So this one, reading is short. So hi, I watched your biochem lecture. It was awesome. Thank you. Please tell something about Anki. When should we start Anki deck? Okay. So yeah, thanks for that. Biochemistry, yes. I had, yeah, I was doing that lecture, but I have people commented that there might be copyright, so I had to just put a stop to it. That is why I couldn't do everything, but I think I did enough, like just for someone who lacks the basis to have a general idea about biochemistry before approaching the steps. So that should be something. And thanks for your comment. So you are asking about the Anki flashcard. I advise people to start as soon as possible. Do not wait and do like download the pre-made deck. And what I think is that if you find any concept, like as soon as you start doing UWorld, you want to start making flashcards into Anki and make time for it. Once your Anki deck is about 200 going forward, you want to start doing Anki flashcards almost every day. Do not stay for 3 days without doing Anki flashcards. So build your own deck. Do not download decks like pre-made decks. I don't advise people to do that. You do your own decks. You capture images from first aid. You capture the first aid pages that are difficult for you accurate. Capture UWorld page explanations into your flashcard. Highlight them. Add or take a photo of the UWorld tables into your flashcards and make time for it every day. Try to spend about 3 hours on your flashcards. And as you are doing the flashcards, start asking yourself questions. If you miss something and then you put it in your flashcard, ask yourself, like, which other way can the questions be asked? What other causes can they ask the next time? The next time, what other signs and symptoms can they use? What signs and symptoms like will always, or like what is that particular signs and symptom that they cannot ask a question without putting it in the question? You understand? So that is how sometimes I look at my questions. And when I look at the book, I tell myself, as for this sign, if they don't put it in the question, there's no way they can ask it, because it must always be there to differentiate it from other conditions. So if you can capture a lot of those types of concepts, then it makes studies easier for you, and you get most of the answers also correct. So thanks for your question, and thanks for your comment also. And I hope that answers your question. Let's see next. And also I have a link. If you want to join the discussion, you can just click on the link and I will let you into the chat room so that you can talk instead of typing. Yeah, there's the link. If you want to join the chat room, I can let you in, and then we can hear your voice. You can use video or audio. All is accepted. So let's see, Zumi. Do you recommend making your own Anki flashcards, or should we use a pre-made deck like Zanki? Yeah, so yes, I have said this already. I encourage people to make their own decks because the pre-made deck have a lot of information that you know already. Why I say that is that if you have enough time, then it's good, because the pre-made deck, some are over 15,000. And I don't think you need to make so many cards. You need to only make high yield cards. If you do it by yourself, you will make only high yield cards of information that you are likely to miss on the exam, information that are difficult for only you. But when you look at a pre-made deck like the Zanki, it has a lot of information that you might know already. And if say you are spending 3 hours to do flashcards, or to do your flashcards, and you are having like maybe 30 minutes of dilute information that you know already, then what's the point? It's kind of waste of time. There are some information that you, even if you are sleeping, you will always remember. So those information, you don't have to make flashcards of them. So that's why I advise people to make their own flashcard. But if you have next 1.5 years to write your exam, then why not do Zanki? Because he has captured everything already. But if you have 6 months to write your exam, make your own flashcards. I hope that answers the question. Thank you. You're welcome. Very welcome. Yeah, got it. Okay. Now let's see the next question. So, how do you keep yourself motivated throughout the long journey? What about the days when you wake up and you don't feel like studying? These are very, very important questions, and I really appreciate you asking. Okay, let me take a deep breath. Hmm. Okay, so yes. So yeah, there have been difficult days. There are days that I must be frank. There are days that mostly I feel like, can I do this? Like, will I be able to do this? And there are days that I'm studying step one and I hear somebody studying step three. I hear somebody applying for residency, and I feel like, when is it going to be my time? And can I even do this and all that? And then also you'll hear negative comments from people who say you cannot do this, people who think that you're not smart enough to do this, people who don't even believe in you. So yeah, it gets to that point. There are days that you wake up and you just don't feel like doing anything. But one thing that helped me, that I always tell people, is if you get a study partner, there'll be a day that you don't feel like studying, but your study partner feels like studying. So those days, you have no choice than to join your study partner. There could also be a day where your study partner does not feel like studying, but you feel like studying. So if you both have a plan and you know that when you wake up, you are going to do 40 blocks of UWorld, then if one person feels lazy, then it doesn't work. So it means the person must come on board. Now, there are days that if my study partner doesn't feel like studying, then I will tell her, I am going to go ahead without you, because we must finish this and we must apply for residency this year, right? So in that way, she comes back and then we do it. And then if there are days that I feel like I am lazy, then I also listen to her for motivation. So yes, there are also days that it's also about mental health. Like, it's not just about studying. When you meet your study partner, you become like more or less like friends. So like, you can talk about anything that bothers you and it clears your mind, and all that. There are a lot of coping mechanisms that you can also learn from your study buddy. There are things that you can say and laugh over and all that. So yes, study partners are one thing that kept me going. Also, the plan A is always what I look at. Why I decided to start the journey is what I always remember. There will be things that will come your way, for which, like, they will delay you, they will take your mind off the exam, but you always have to remember the plan A, why you started the journey in the first place. And remember the number of people who are going to have maybe prolonged life, or they'll have extra 2 years, extra 3 years because of your hard work. Also, you're not doing this all by yourself, right? Because you have a maker who started all this for you. I know before you started the journey, before you went to medical school and all that, like, you might have said some prayers, you might have done some meditation. So you know that you are not in this journey alone. It must be difficult, but you have a God, or you have a maker that is going to always support you. So yes, it's hard, but know that you are not alone. Also, sometimes I look at people, like when you join study groups, like you're on Reddit step 1 group, you're on Reddit step 2 group. Formerly it was step 1 group. We were on Facebook, and if you hear everybody, like I had a lot of people like Anaris, I remember Lenticular Striator, like there are a lot of people in the group that they are always posting their progress. They are like asking questions, So if somebody puts a UWorld concept there, and you know that, oh, this person is doing UWorld, this person has written their exam, and like that pushes you to also study. So I would say you want to surround yourself with people who are also writing the USMLE by joining study the study groups, like not like people who help you study, but like groups like USMLE step 1 group, USMLE step 2 group on Reddit or Facebook, so that you know that if all these people are studying, they are going to apply and they'll leave you if you don't study. You understand? So we all go in together, we all succeed together. And that is a way of like creating your own. If you have finished your med school, this a group that which is also like your classroom, like this a different classroom group that you can all graduate together, all write step 1 around the same time and apply together. Yeah. So and every now and then those people, we check on each other, even though some were not able to write the step 2 at the same time as us, but yet we check on them, and then they say, hey, we are going to write it, will match this year and all that. Yeah. So those are some of the things that keep me going. Yeah, I hope this answers your question. You should be able to motivate yourself. Know that when you finish all this, there's a bright light at the end of the tunnel. Never give up. Try to separate yourself as much as possible from meaningless distractions. Yeah. Wow, that's a really good answer. Thanks. Thank you too. Thanks for your comment. So one more question. Hey, feel free to ask all your questions. I'm here for you guys, okay? I'm here for you guys. So I'm not bothered at all about your questions. I'll answer if you ask 1,000 questions. So how much time do we need to spend a day to review what we studied earlier? So as I said, so it depends on the number of flashcards. When I was in my last 2 months of step 2, that's when I started doing flashcards for my step 2. My last 2 months was my dedicated. That was when I started doing the incorrect of my first pass of UWorld. And when I was missing some of the concepts that I thought I would remember, then I realized that this is the time to capture this into flashcards and binge learn them and do flashcards. So because my flashcards are such a way that they are not one sentence or one line flashcards, sometimes if I miss a question, I'll capture UWorld explanation into my flashcard and also capture the first aid page, the step 1 first aid page that talks about it. So if I miss a question on, let's say, name and pick disease, right? Is it name and pick? Yeah, something like that. Name and pick. Yeah, if I make a question on name and pick, I'm not just going to like capture name and pick into my book. I'm going to capture the whole first aid page that has from the Tay-Sachs disease up to the is it Hala disease. I'll capture all that page into my flashcard. So if I'm doing my flashcard, I'm reading everything. So even though I will do like 150 flashcards in a day, I will end up reading a lot of information, and I will spend about like 3 to 4 hours doing flashcards. But what you should do is that you should be able to divide your time in the day so that you are able to do UWorld at least 2 blocks a day. At least 2 blocks a day. 2 blocks a day is good for UWorld. 2 blocks a day, review it, take a nap, wake up from the nap, and do your flashcards. So if you're spending the whole day, say you start studying from 9 a.m. until 6, that is, you did UWorld 2 blocks and you are reviewing UWorld 2 blocks. It's enough. 2 blocks from 9 a.m. until 6 or 8, you should finish the 2 blocks. Now, when you finish, you sleep from 8 to 12, or if you can sleep 2 hours is good. If you can sleep 3 hours is good. So you sleep from that time 8 to 10 to 12. If you wake up at 12 midnight, then you are doing your flashcards from 12 to about 3 o'clock. Then you sleep again until 7, 8, then you wake up. That's if you have all the time. I know this doesn't work for people who are working, but what you can do is that if you can get all your work schedules together, say you are working 3 days in a week, then the rest of the 4 days you can do this. I believe in spaced repetition. It's more important than just adding additional information. The best thing people say is it's better to know well what you know than to add more information where you don't know any of the information very well. So you want to do flashcards and review them, make time for it. If you spend 8 hours reading in a day, or even if it's 8 hours reading in a day, spend 4 hours or 3 hours doing flashcards. And the flashcards means that you are revising. Stop taking notes, stop writing down notes. Any notes you write, put it in your flashcards. Or after writing the notes, capture the notes as an image and put that note in your flashcard. It makes it easier for you to learn. I hope that answers your question, Reedy. What's this? Teletubbies. Wow, that's a really good answer. Okay. Let's see the next one. Yeah, so if somebody is joining us, we are just discussing the USMLE steps. I'm a current applicant. I went through the same stage as you guys. I did step 1, step 2, and currently prepping to start step 3. And also, I've done application for my residency, just waiting. I got a few of them from programs that I like, and prepping for interviews to start very soon. Just taking this time to interact with everybody and keep people motivated so that they can also get to this level and pass the exam and get programs that they want. So let's see the next question from Teletubby. So if you have any question, please, you can put it in the comment box and I'll just show it and we discuss and talk about it. If you also want to join live and we hear your voice, you can click on this link where I'll allow you into the I'll allow you into the chat room and then you'll talk and discuss your problems and share your ideas also with us. Anything that is helping you to also study, you can discuss it with people here and we all just keep helping ourselves. So let's see this. Let's say I finish UWorld first pass. Do you think I should do a second pass or do AMBOSS? So this question is not a straightforward answer, like it doesn't have a straightforward answer. If you feel that you have extracted enough information from the UWorld, because I know people do UWorld and they don't extract the information from it well. Like some people just do it and then when they get a question correct, they don't they don't read the incorrect questions, and some also read the incorrect answers, right? The incorrect answers, they don't extract the information from it well because they feel like, oh, this is not important because it is wrong. No, if you are able to extract all the juices from the UWorld well, then it will be good to do another QBank. But if you are someone who did not really extract the information from the UWorld well, that would mean that you are not doing well on your NBMEs. If you're not doing well on your NBMEs, it means that there's a lot of information from UWorld that you did not extract well. In that case, you want to do a second pass of UWorld and take it very serious. But if you have extracted enough information from UWorld, and let's say your scores are around 230, 220, and then you want additional information, then what I would advise is that you can do AMBOSS, but you want to do the high yield concept in AMBOSS. How do you do that? when you are creating a block in AMBOSS, there's a place where you can check the bars, like the difficulty bars, right? The difficulty hammers, where you do only hammer 3, hammer 4, hammer 5 questions. If you do hammer 3, hammer 4, hammer 5 questions, they are very high yield, difficult concept, and it will build your knowledge very well. Then after doing AMBOSS, you come back to UWorld and see how you perform. You understand? So yes, you can decide to do it if you feel like if you're not doing well on NBME, then I would say do UWorld again. But if you are doing well on your NBME, then AMBOSS will be something that can help you to solidify it. Yeah, I hope that helps. And I hope that answers your question. So some people will benefit, some might not benefit. Now, let's see the next question. Dimitri. So yeah, before I read this one, so I'm just telling you guys, like, if there's anybody who is just joining us, we are discussing the USMLE. And for those who are already with us, if you have anything to share, okay, I don't want it to just be like a one-sided, I want to learn from you guys too. So if you have anything to share, anything that you have done that you've seen an improvement in your studies or your scores, you want to share with us, I'll really appreciate it, so that everybody else can learn from you too. Okay. This is, it says, what medical specialty are you interested in? So my application currently, I only applied for internal medicine. All my programs that I applied is only internal medicine that I applied to, no other programs. So yes, I've got a few, few of the interview invites, and there are programs that I really like. I got all of them from not all but one from university programs, which I like, and I hope I will have to see which one that I relate better with, which one will serve me better, and I'll rank them, and then hopefully they also rank me back. So yes, it's internal medicine basically. Yeah, basically internal medicine. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Next one. So for CK, what would be your approach if 4 months is the only option you have? So first, if 4 months is the only option I have, then that would mean that I just finished step 1. But if that is not the case, then what our advice is still flashcards, because when I started my CK, I was basically writing notes, thinking that I'll come back to the notes. I was like writing, differentiating things. So if I see rheumatoid arthritis, you know how like the rheumatoid arthritis on step 2 is different from not different, but it's more in depth. It's more like it's more difficult the way they set the question for rheumatoid arthritis on step 2 versus step 1. So, and if I take osteoarthritis, also same. So in step 2, I started writing the notes and then writing, okay, rheumatoid versus osteo, this is the difference. But I realized that as the time went on, the notes became full and I didn't get time to read all because it's a lot. It's a lot. So when I realized that there was no need to add more notes, I started doing my flashcards from that time. So I would say the strategy would be, as soon as you start reading, do flashcards immediately and have time for the flashcards. If you do flashcards from day 1 for step 2 CK and you have time to read them, one pass of UWorld should be enough for you to pass your exams, because it's all about spaced repetition. By the time you finish UWorld, you would have repeated the information several times by using your flashcards, so you will be able to be ready for the exam at the time. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. Darshan, Sandesara. Let's go to next one. And if I didn't answer your question, yes, you can make a follow-up. Let's say thanks a lot. When we should start our step one form fill up procedure like a non-US IMG, it will take time to verify. Is there a benchmark like pass an NBME for step one, for starting step one procedure? Yeah. So this is a very, very brilliant question. So there were people who they register for the exams before they even start studying, and it's not a smart move because you are likely not to be ready. The USMLE has different phases, especially when you are studying for step one. The phase where you start and then you don't know what you are about, the phase where you make several mistakes, and the phase where you are going to plateau, and the phase where now you know that you are ready for the exam. Now, before like you get to the phase where you've plateaued, you don't want to register yet. At least try to do, I advise like try to do like 50 to 60% of UWorld and do an NBME. And when your scores are about 200, if you get 200 or 52% and above, then you know that at this time I just need a little more information. So if you are getting 52% and above, you can pass the exam. Actually, you can pass the exam with a little, just like few more information. So at that point, you can start registering for the exam. And if you are able to finish the registration process by 2 months, you can pick your date from there and just write it within the next like 1 month, right? So I will say make sure you are confident about the material at least a little bit, and you've passed an NBME, at least pass an NBME before starting the process, because it takes a lot of hard work to pass an NBME. So try to pass an NBME at least and before you register, unless you have the money and then you are ready to lose it. That way, if you're not ready and you are not able to take it, you lose your money. But I wouldn't advise people to register, and then the fact that they are going to lose their money, that is why they are going to try the exams. This exam you don't want to try, you want to go in prepared and write and pass. So that's very important. I hope that answers someone's questions. Let's see, Robin Hood, you're welcome. Let's see, good to see you again. Yes, I'm glad to see you also. Do you feel like step two NBME type questions are different from UWorld step two questions? A little bit. The difficulty level is a little bit different. But yeah, it's a little bit different. I'll say so. But compared to step one, like they are all easy to pass. I'll say that if you can extract more information from UWorld and compare the conditions like this versus that, the difference, and you're able to differentiate very well, NBMEs wouldn't be too hard. My highest NBME I did was a 241, and I was able to manage a 250 on the exam, right? My last NBME was NBME 12, which I got 225, and then I reviewed only the incorrect 2 days before the exam. And yes, and then the exam itself is more, for me, my questions looked like UWorld questions. The question length, the type of the questions, except some few like what the F questions, except few of them that you don't know the answer. And then my strategy was I was not going to eliminate any answer that I don't know. Say if they write something like if they write like a difficult word that I've never seen in my studies, it doesn't mean I should eliminate it. Now, my strategy will be to eliminate those that I know that for sure they are not the answer. Then I'll be left with whatever is there. So there were a lot of questions where I would eliminate and it's left with what I don't know, but I'll leave it anyway. Just leave it there. You never can tell if that's the answer. And remember, they're not scoring everything. So if I'm missing that, I don't mind. All I care is at the end I'll pass. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Robin Hood, I hope I answered your question. What? So you're asking, like, do you feel like step two NBME type questions are different from UWorld step two? Um, there's difference. Yes, there is difference. You know how NBME said their questions, there is difference. But you need to be calm. Like, that is one thing that helped. You need to be calm. Don't overthink. Don't just stay calm and take everything step by step. You will be fine. Okay. Yeah. Jules, Dimitri, nice. Good luck with your interviews. Hope you do great there. Thank you so much. I hope I do great too. I hope you guys pray for me so that I can do great. Okay, let's see. Next person. Um, okay, not cheap, frugal, not cheap. Listen to him on that. It happened to me on step one. I had to repay the money. Yes, 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 yes. You don't want to repay that money. They don't. You don't want to give that $1,000 to them like free like that. Like, don't give it to them. So prep and know that, okay, now I'm getting like 200. Even if you don't pass, you are almost about to pass, then you can register for the exam, right? There are some people who say, okay, once you register, because you've registered, that is going to push you to write like to study, but that shouldn't be the motivation factor. Try to find a different thing to motivate yourself, so that the fact that you are going to lose your money is not the reason you should be going to panic and then go take the exam, right? So yes, yes. If you're just now joining us, we are discussing the USMLE step one, step two. And those joining us, those already who have joined us, if you can share the video with your friends, if you can put them on like social media pages, just put them on your WhatsApp pages so that people join us, share with your friends so that they also join us. And we can all discuss what is helpful for the step. And I want you all to know that if you don't stop studying, if you don't give up and you keep pushing every day, knowing very well that there's light at the end of the tunnel, you will also get to this level one day where you are applying for residency, at least. And if there's someone who is already in fellowship or something, or in residency, yes, yeah. So it takes a lot of hard work. When I was studying for step two, it was hard. It was hard. There are those days that you feel, oh, it's not doable, but it is doable. Like, at least I've done it. I've done it. So I know definitely it's doable. And if you don't give up, the only reason why you cannot do it is when you give up. And I want you to know that it's not about, for me, I can talk for myself. It's not like I was the best student in my class, or I'm the wisest person, or I'm the smartest kid. It's about hard work and reading every day, reading what you do not know. Just keep reading it every day. Keep reading, 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 reading every day. Yeah, you will be fine. Yeah. Let's see. Um, Robin Hood, do you recommend doing 1 to 12 steps? Step 2 NBMEs? Can you help me understand this? Do you recommend doing 1 to 12 step 2 NBMEs? 1 to 12. What do you mean 1 to 12? Is it NBME 1 to NBME 12? Is it like that? Let me know, Robin Hood. If it's NBME, because I did from, okay, he brought again. Let's see. So Robin Hood said, do you recommend doing all the NBMEs for step 2? That it's about, I think it's 9, no, 8, 9, 10, no, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 5. It's 5. Yes, I recommend you do all. I recommend you do all. So my final 4 weeks, I divided that. So I was doing an NBME and the UWorld SA2. So that'll be 5 plus 2, that would be 7 assessments. So I divided them like every week I do one, every week I do one, right? Every 8 days I do one. So that's 4 weeks. But for the last 2 days, I did the NBME 12. So if you that you're dedicated and you want to do them, yes, you can do it. They're about 8. So add UWorld essay 1 and 2 plus the NBM is 5, they are 7. So just divide them. Every 8 days you do one, every 8 days you do one, every 8 days you do one, and then that lets you learn a lot within that short time. And then it's in your short-term memory you can before you go into the exam. That's how I did it, at least. Yeah. NBME 1. So I did not do NBME 1. I did from NBME 9 to 12 plus UWorld essay 1 and UWorld essay 2. That was it. And then when I started studying, like I think in say March thereabout, AMBOSS did some free assessment. It didn't really count, even though I got 227. When I was even close to my exam, I got 225. So it didn't really count. It didn't really count. But yes, that was the next assessment I did at the beginning of my prep. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, you are welcome, Robin Hood. Now let's go back and see the other questions. So Keshri, how will new accreditation policy of 2024 affect Indian medical students? How is the solution of this? Can you help me understand this? Do you want to join the chat box? Like, do you want to come in and discuss with us? Because this is new to me also, 2024 accreditation. Come and discuss with me so that I will understand you better. I'll be very glad you want to share this with us. You come and throw more light. You can click the link and I'll let you into the comment box. Okay, I just posted this link in the comments. You can click on it and then I'll let you into the comment box. You can discuss with us because I think this is new to a lot of us. 2024 accreditation policy. How is that? Please. Let's see the next one. What studio approach do you recommend for OET exams? And what do you mean studio approach? I can share with you how study approach. I'm sorry. Okay, what study approach did you recommend for OET? So I started studying for OET like 2 weeks to taking the exam, and I was going to bring this Dr. Faraz onto my show one day, so that he throws more light on it. So basically, you have to understand the structure of the OET and prep accordingly. So when I was prepping, I had my study partner took it earlier because I've written this IELTS in the past in 2018 thereabout, and I had to write it like 3 times before I got a score I wanted. So I was kind of scared of OET, especially the speaking. I was really scared. So I wasn't ready for it, and so she kept pushing me, hey Jerry, you have to do it, you have to do it early. So yeah, I gave in and I did it. I studied for 2 weeks. I watched this YouTube video. He's called Dr. Faraz. Dr. Faraz, I can write his name in the comment here. Dr. Faraz. Faraz. I think if you search this and you add OET to the name, you will see it on YouTube. So yes, his videos were very helpful. So what I did was, for the writing, he's going to tell you how to write. You want to write it out the same way he wrote it, write it on a sheet of paper and learn according to it. Memorize the way he wrote it, the steps that he used, do the same thing. Okay, replicate the same thing in your exam according to the question that was given to you. Right. And then try to write some few, like maybe write 3 or 4 examples by yourself and remember the format for the exam. And when you get there, write the same format for that. At least that's what I did, and I got a B for them, right? And when it came to the speaking, I'm not very good at speaking, so I got a different study partner for OET where we spoke every evening, right? Like every evening we made, especially in the last week, every evening we speak. She'll be the interlocutor, and I'll also be the interlocutor the next time, and we just discuss with each other, and we all passed, you know. So yes, those are the two main things. With the reading, I want you to speed up when you are reading, like learn, practice how to read. You want to be able to, don't like practice, just practice. Like you want to be able to pick your answers, just read a question, pick your answers, and move on. And because I did not practice the reading, so when they gave me, okay, somebody's joining, I'll come back to the OET topic. Let's let her in. Yes. Um, yeah, you are welcome to join us. Keshri, you're welcome to join us. You can unmute and then you speak and share some light on this 2024 policy for us. So she's come to talk about it.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. You are welcome. Good morning. It's good evening from here. I'm in Texas Central Time. Yeah, you're welcome to join the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sir. Thanks for having.
yeah. So you were discussing the accreditation policy for 2024. Can you throw more light on it for us? We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. According to the ECFMG, that is for the IMGs. So they have published this their latest. Um, Actually, according to them, they are changing the policies for the IMGs. So the accreditation agency, which accreditates their medical schools, must be recognized by the World Federation WFME. So after 2024, I think India will lose the status. So we may not be eligible to apply for ECFMG certification.
Wow, I think that is really new to me. I don't have information on that, but we can call ECFMG to find out. And then, did you call them and that's what they told you?
No, I got this news from their website.
Okay, because if you say India, apart from the United States, the largest, like among the foreign countries, the largest population of doctors in the United States, apart from the Americans themselves, not just America, apart from like those who are American grads, the next country with the largest population of doctors is India. So if they are blocking Indians, it's not going to be possible. That would be slashing almost half of IMGs from applying, and it's not going to be possible. Like it's going to cause a lot of problem for the U.S. health system. So I don't think it will be prudent to do that. There will always be a way out. There's no way India can just be taken out of the system. It's not like it will not help. It will not help. So we can call ECFMG like to make sure that we have some explanation to that, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but there are times that people like come up with like people will say a lot of things, speculate, and you have my email, right? Or my Instagram is up there. You can add me on it, and then we can discuss this further, okay? And then
Okay, sir.
see, yeah, where it goes. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
Thank you for sharing your concerns with us. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
You are welcome. Have a good night or good morning. Yeah.
Sir, it's morning right here.
Okay, yes, yes. Yeah, I've actually visited India before. I was in Chennai. I was there for 5 days. So yes, yes.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that was interesting. Yeah, that was interesting. We have to investigate this so that people know what is ahead of them in the future, so that they know how to prep for that. But I would say if you are studying, keep studying. Okay, if you are studying, keep studying. Once they open the doors for you to write step one and step two, there'll be a way around the accreditation as well. Okay, yeah. So just keep studying. Don't be discouraged or demoralized. Keep studying. Yeah. And now let's see the next question. Um, okay, let's see who is grateful. Hello, do you recommend UWorld during basic sciences, or is AMBOSS okay? During basic sciences, I would say do UWorld for basic sciences, and it depends on how long you want to take to write your exams, right? So if I were you, I'll do basic sciences from UWorld. Like when I'm doing basic sciences in the med school, then I'm doing basic sciences in UWorld also. But if you want additional information, then you want to do the AMBOSS for the basic sciences. Yeah, but UWorld is always a gold standard, and you want to start with UWorld from day one of your prep. Yeah. Hope that answers your question. Let's see, family, Ben J family. So, do you need your degree verified before ECFMG can issue your certificate? Um, Personally, for mine, it was verified because when I graduated from the med school, the date of birth on my transcript that I applied with was reduced by 10 years, right? The date of birth was reduced by 10 years. So when they were going to issue the E7G certification to me, they realized that there was a problem on it. So they had to go back to my school and ask them to re-verify the final transcript, right? The final transcript was verified. So they did that. But for my study partner, they did not ask for anything. The same document that she used to apply for step one, that was what they looked on, and then they issued her ACFM certification. And so they don't have to verify again if there's no problem with it. But mind you, they really do a quality check. They check every single word on the certificate on your transcript, every single word on your transcript before they issue the ECFMG certification to you. So if there's any problem on it, I'll say try to correct it before it reaches that time. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. But if you have not had your certification, you want to call them so they can process it for you. If I had to call them, they don't just do it spontaneous. I call them before they hurried with mine. Let's see. Next question. I hope that answers you. Jules Dimitri. Well, if that new policy for the E7 certificate affects Indian IMGs, that will also affect negatively my country, Dominican Republic. Yeah. So yes, what I think is if ECFMG allows you to write step one and step two, they are not going to block you from getting the certification. So yes, I think there will always be a way out, and India serves as a very big population of IMGs in the United States. So it will be hard. It will be a very big blow to the US health system. Robin Hood, what's the difference between university residency programs versus other residency programs? So that would be university versus community. So just as the name suggests, the university programs are usually affiliated to the university. It's more like a university that is attached to, like a med school that is attached to a hospital where all the students from that med school are trained in that hospital. Like they go there for clinical work rotation. So it's just like attached to it. But we also have community programs which are also affiliated to universities. But for me, the difference is how the programs are being administered. Some programs are administered by the universities, other programs are just the hospitals in the communities that are doing the programs. The Even though they all have fellowship programs, but the university programs are most likely to have more fellowship programs, and I think the university programs will always have fellowship programs. Some community programs do not have fellowship programs, and so after training you need to move out from there to apply for fellowship elsewhere. Yeah. And I think that is about, any of them is good, all of them are good. I think all are good, and so you can apply for all of them. It doesn't really make any big difference. At the end, you'll be the doctor that you want to be. You'll be getting training, and I believe that before the accreditation is given to any program, it means that the accreditation board deems them fit to train medical students, and so any programs that you train from, you can practice anywhere in the United States. Let's see, next, but Kundan. Kundan, yes. How about our school? What do you mean by our school? Accreditation policy of 2024. What do you mean our school? Can you come again? Yes, Kundan. Because I don't really have a lot of information about this 2024 accreditation program. I saw some flyers on it, but I didn't really think it was going to be a big blow, and so we have to look into it. I'll make some research about it, and I'll call the A7G also, and then we'll come up with any information that they give out on that. Yeah, but I will say keep studying. Don't worry about that now. If you register and they accept your application, just keep studying. Okay. Yeah. Farouk Ahmad, what's your advice for a student planning to take step one next year, September? Start studying now. That's my advice. Start studying now. Start studying now. The next year, September, is like what, almost 1 year from now. So if you start studying now, it's better for you, right? Start studying now, make flashcards, start doing UWorld, get study partner, and keep pushing every day. And next year, by this time, you would have done well on your step one. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. And next question, how to start USMLE prep? It's very easy. Like, it's the easiest thing in the world. How to start is the easiest thing. So let me show you. All you need is to get the resources, buy this book, okay, and buy UWorld. If you don't have UWorld, you can get the soft. They have the offline version. You can get that, and find yourself in a community of medical students who are prepping for the USMLE, and there you go. So you can join Reddit Step One group and find a study partner, and there you go. So that is simple. It's the easiest thing to do. Decide to do it and have a reason for doing it. I hope that answers your question. And mind you, there was a day where I never thought I can write USMLE, but now I've written step one and step two and applying for residency March. So if you are debating on whether you can do it or if when to start, the time is now. Okay. Now, next question. How do we study efficiently? I tend to move away from questions and do notes. So this question is relative efficiency. So basically, I think the most important thing to get from your studies is to be able to retain information for a very long time and be able to use that information to answer questions and also eventually be able to retain some of that information to treat patients. So to study efficiently, I have discussed this topic in my other videos, but you need to do UWorld, you need to read the resources, you need to like where any information that you don't understand, and reading UWorld will not help you. Go back to boards and beyond to learn it. If it's pathoma that you need to learn it from, you go back there and learn it, make flashcards, and make sure you review those flashcards every day. And that is a way you can learn effectively, because you want to be able to learn and also be able to retain the information. Learning is not enough. Retention is the key. Okay. But there are different strategies to learn every subject. If you're learning pathology, if you're learning biochemistry, if you're learning biostatistics, there are different strategies that you need to apply to learn all of them, right? Let's see. I hope that answers your question. So if you are just joining us, we are discussing the USMLE step 1, step 2, step 3. Any questions that you have, you can ask also. And for those of you who are doing well, you've tried any strategy that is helping you, I'm going to put the link out there. You can join the discussion and share with us whatever is working for you. Everybody wishes to learn from you as well. I also want to learn from you. So if you want to join the discussion, you can join and talk to us. Okay, we would like to hear from you. You can join with video or audio, it's up to you. So let's see, next question. Do you know if UWorld have discount or Black Friday? UWorld usually doesn't have discount. They do not. But if for some reason, like something like during COVID pandemic, like they gave some number of days free, but if you can write a passionate appeal to them, say, okay, you have 1 week to write your exam and then you don't have money, but your subscription is coming to an end, yeah, they can give you some 3-4 days. Yeah, but sometimes they just do it for once. And when COVID pandemic was the thing, like I think they gave me like 2 weeks extra. So yeah, but they don't have a discount code. I heard recently they rolled out some, but I don't know about now. I don't know whether it's something that is like always. Yeah, I don't know if it's something they do like always, but yeah. Um, I don't know about Black Friday. I don't know about that. So if you are just joining us, yes, you can use the link over there to join the comment. Like if you, I mean the chat box, you can come in and then we hear your voice. Okay, the chat room, come to the chat room and join us. And also, if you have any ideas that are helpful that you think would help somebody be successful on their prep, let us know. We would love to hear from you and learn from you. Let's see here. So is that true that once you become ECFM certified, you can apply for other international residency programs in countries like Canada, UK, Dubai? I I know about Dubai. I don't know about Canada or UK. I know about Dubai. I know about Dubai. I've heard about Dubai and I think United Arab Emirates. But even that is just some specific hospitals that accept those the ECFMG, and you can actually do your residency in those countries as well. Even when you're holding like step 1 and step 2 without ECFMG certification, you can still. I know some of the programs over there will accept you, train you, and you start working there. Yeah, so it is possible. It is possible. Yes. So let's see. Is UWorld's second pass enough for step 1? I find UWorld is more than no need FA. So UWorld second pass, I wouldn't say it's like totally enough if you're not doing first aid, because first aid has a lot of the information in it. If you do UWorld alone, say if there are 5 causes of any condition, UWorld can only have the opportunity to ask you maximum of 2 questions, right? So in the first aid, you have extra causes in the book. You have other mechanisms to that disease, and you have other information. So reading the first aid is something that supplements UWorld, but you want to be directed to first aid by UWorld questions. Any concept that you see in UWorld should be in first aid, and then you have additional information in the first aid. So I will not say do not do the first aid. What I advise people not to do is not to read the first aid just by itself. Don't go sit in the library and say, I'm reading first aid. It doesn't work that way. For some chapters, it might, but generally, it doesn't work that way. When you are doing UWorld and you meet any concept that you do not understand, or you need extra information that you want to come to the first aid and watch and read it. But if you read it and you still don't understand, then you go to Boards and Beyond or Pathoma for additional explanation like that. I hope that answers your question, Kundan. Let's see this. Let's see. So if you are just joining us, we are discussing the USMLE step 1, step 2, step 3. And if you have any information that can help somebody and you want to share with us, anything that you do that helps you yourself to answer questions, get more questions correct, you can let us also know, and we can also learn from you. So let's go to the next person. Next question. I want to look at this. Okay, let's look at the next question and see. Okay. Okay, so next question says, now that you are studying for step 3, and what approach and study resources are you using and when you plan to take step 3? So basically, I have acquired my UWorld. I've paid for the UWorld. I was supposed to start it this week, but then my interviews are coming up very soon, so I couldn't start it on Monday, and I also needed to like apply for jobs, and then I was having a lot of phone calls, and so I have not really started studying for step 3, but I'm ready to start. But my study approach is just going to be like my last 2 weeks, sorry, my last 2 months of step 2, the same approach. As soon as I start, I'm gonna do flashcards, make time for the flashcards. I'll do only 1 pass of UWorld and I'll write step 3. Yeah. But I plan to write step 3 by January. By January, I should write step 3. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. I should write before I start residency. By January, I should finish step 3. I hope that answers your question. Let me see here. I'm trying to see how this thing looks. Okay, that's not bad. All right. Now let me see here the next question, if we can answer it. So next question, is it the same question? Oh, I think it's the same thing. Okay, let me go to Robinhood. Okay, what kind of job can you do while waiting for residency? if you are a grad. Yeah, so mostly there is this job that medical students can do. Like you can be a scribe or you can be a physician assistant. And if you find yourself in the US, that would be easy. So there is this sister channel, it's called the IMG couple, and then they discuss how to go about that. If you can check their channel, it's called the IMG couple. They discuss how you can get a job when you're in the US as an IMG, and you don't really have to write any exams and all that to get it. So yes, it's that possible. And my situation is a little bit different from that, so I'm not actually doing that. But yes, that is what some people do, and I think it's a very honorable job to do. Like it helps you learn even a lot. You're still in your same line of duty. So yes. Um, Let me see here. Next one. How many interviews you got yet? So yeah, I got a couple of interviews. I got a couple of interviews. That is enough, but I still want more. But I think if I nail those interviews, it should be enough for me to match into a residency. Um, why I don't want to put out a number is sometimes it creates anxiety among other people who are waiting for residency. So I cannot put the actual number there, but yeah, I have a couple of them, and then I like where they are all coming from. Yeah, and I'm confident that they're enough even for me to match already. Yeah, and they are from like my, like they are from my top choices or as well. Yeah. Okay, so you say what was the website called again, please? So it is not I can put it here. It is not a website, but it's a YouTube channel, right? It's called IMG, the IMG couple. The IMG couple. Yeah, you'll see two IMGs. One is male and female. The other is female, and they discuss the how to get um, physician assistant or medical assistant job in the United States as an IMG. They discuss it. So if you can check their channel, they have the procedure outlined there, and you can also contact them for direct convo. I'll also invite them in the future to discuss that on this channel as well. Um, Hey, are you asking this question again? How many interviews you got so far? Yeah. I told you I cannot discuss the number. I cannot disclose. I just don't want to like other people who have not gotten, because this whole thing is very, it's a very like, and like it's anxiety driven, because there are some people who might get their interviews very early. When I applied, and the next day somebody called me, hey, my people are getting interviews, how about you? And all I said was, thanks for letting me know, because like I was so anxious. I don't even know if my application has gone through this, like the system it has transmitted, or I don't know if my personal statement is appealing. I don't know if my, like, it's just a lot of things. I don't know whether somebody will come with a higher score than me. And so and then there was even a time where I'll be thinking like someone really made me know that, hey, your school is not a school that a lot of people know. But come to think about it again, like who knows all the international IMGs? Like, I mean, who knows the schools they're coming from? Like my school, although it's in China, but its world ranking is higher than most of the schools that students are coming from. So when people throw negative comments at you, you just have to take it and learn a lesson from it. Yeah. So yeah, so why I don't want to put the numbers out there is because I don't want to create that panic out there. But I have a couple of interviews. I have a couple of interviews that that I'm I'm happy with. I'm really happy with the number of interviews that I've gotten so far. But I cannot put the numbers out there. It's not advisable. I can also not put the programs that I or the hospitals or the programs names also out there. But I have a couple, and as you all know, like I'm in it. Like yeah. Um. So there again, you say okay. Um, not necessarily, what I want from a program is a program that would train me to become a very good physician, not necessarily a university or a community. Once the program has what I want and they can train me to be a very good physician, I'm in for it. Right. That is my policy. So I'm not gonna rank universities based on the fact that I'm not gonna rank the program based on the fact that they are a university program or not. I don't mind about that. It's the program that I feel like I'm gonna fit into, and the program that if I have any concerns, they will listen to me. The programs that if I want to make any changes, they will welcome me. Like if I suggest, hey, let's do this differently, and it's not something that is going to harm the program or harm anybody, they should be able to listen to me also, because at this point I'm also going to contribute to the good of the program, the good of the hospital as well, like that. So it should be a program that you fit in, not a program that you go and like you just feel like no, every day you don't fit in. There should be a lot of things. Like for me, I'll look at for example, I'll look at their graduates, whether they get fellowship programs, their passing rate, if they finish and they're writing the board exams, the passing rate of the board exams. And I'll look at things um, like the retention of the resident. Do they get job right there in the same hospital, or do they run away after after they finish their residency program? And then I'll look at like their achievements over the years, and like okay, have they upgraded the program? Like have they made corrections? Have they made changes? Like are they just static? Like when they started, let's say 20 years ago, is it the same way, or they've made some changes? Then I know that this program is a program that when they realize that there's a need for change, they really embrace it. And I that's important to me, because if the program cannot develop itself, then how do they develop the residents? So that's very important to me. Yeah. um let's see. Next question, let's see. Not necessarily, like I don't want to get much in. I can if I get much in all the programs I apply to, I cannot handle the interview. I will not have the number of days to do it. No, it's not like that. I just want the best. The best I will fit into. Basically, what I'll fit into. I want to fit. I want to fit. I don't want to go in and then be frightened. There are people that you secure a job and you don't feel like working. You don't feel like going to work. I want that program that every day I don't feel like leaving the hospital. Yeah, that's how I want to feel. I want to really work and be happy in my environment. So that is important to me. Yeah. Let's see. Oh my God. Yes, my motivation for you is it's doable. It's doable. You have more than what it takes to write and pass. You have more than what it takes. Okay? So it's doable if you put your mind to it. The journey is bumpy. There'll be days that you'll be doing very well. There'll be days that you'll be at your low point, but I want you to know that it's doable. Eventually, you'll get to this level, right? I remember, so if you're watching, I'm talking with Kundan right now. I'm addressing his comment. Kundan is actually my colleague in med school, and And I remember in 2018, I was discussing with him how I plan to write a USMLE. So yeah, he really understands how far I've come in the plans that I took. Yeah, I was discussing with him. And I don't know how he received that at the time, but yeah, and he was one of those who never discouraged me. Yeah. So yes, I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. Really appreciate you. And congratulations also. He is one of the, I think he was the first student among us to pass the license exam of his country. So he was the first official doctor among us. Yeah. Or officially licensed doctor among us. Yeah. So yes, good job, brother. So yeah, if you are really joining us right now, if you are joining us, we are just discussing the USMLE step 1, step 2. I am a residency applicant, and hopefully by next year March, I'll tell you guys that I have marched into the program I like, and I'll be a resident, and I'll be speaking from to you guys from the perspective of a resident. If you haven't applied, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I want you to subscribe, okay, and then follow the journey so that we all do this together. We will be one family, and we'll be talking to ourselves, encouraging ourselves, and we are going to go into fellowship as well, and we'll need all these motivations, you know that. So you want to subscribe to this channel, please, and subscribe and share with your friends. And so this channel is for the common person, like just for anybody who thinks that this journey is hard and they can get motivations from here. Anyone who needs any assistance and motivation, someone to talk to, sometimes you are just studying and you just need someone to speak with, just like they just need someone to speak with, So that is very important for me. I want to know that there are other people who are also struggling like me. There are other people who are also studying and they have the same journey, the same goal as me. So when I see that, I become very happy, Yeah. And you all get to this level one day. And when I was studying for step 1 year, I was seeing people who are studying for step 2, people who are applying for residency. And I didn't think it was that possible, but it is. It's actually possible. So use me as an example. If I can do it, y'all can do it. Okay. Yeah. Let's go back to the comments and see. Thank you, amen to that. Yeah. Let's say yes, I'm excited for you. Thank you very much. I know you've got this. Thank you. Thank you, Kundan. Let's see the next comment. So, did sketchy video help with farm? Personally, I did not do sketchy farm. I did not. I did sketchy micro. I did sketchy micro because micro was that thing that it was so broad and so volatile. If I do micro on boss and beyond, I will be getting like 80% questions correct. But when I wait for like 1 month, 2 months, then everything evaporates again. So eventually I needed to do sketchy micro when it was like 2 months to my exam, and I made sure to I only did those organisms that I did not know. I didn't do everything. I selectively picked the organisms that I did not know. And for the viruses, you want to watch my video. I have my video on the viruses where you can memorize like every virus, its capsid shape, its DNA structure, whether it's positive sense, negative sense, whether it's DNA, RNA virus. I have a simple video on my YouTube channel. If you watch that, you don't have to watch a sketchy or anything for viruses, because viruses are really broad. It's really broad. So I would start watching my video now. I put all of them in the form of like a Venn diagram, right? So like a Venn diagram, if you watch that and you practice how to draw it over time, it just sticks in your mind and you can place any virus anywhere it belongs to with ease, and you can get simple questions correct on that, right? They're simple answers, just pick and go, so you want to watch that early in your studies when you start studying micro. But for the bacteriology, I did that from and the fungus, I did that from sketchy, and it was very helpful. After doing it, It's gonna imprint some images in your brain, and also you also want to do the questions that are on Sketchy Micro. I did those questions over and over again, and micro was one of my not the micro was my highest. Like, I performed highest on micro on step one. Micro was my highest performance on step one. And on step one, my strategy was just use the knowledge that you know. Don't create your own concepts in the exam. Whatever you knew before you went to the exam, stick to that and go based off that. My exam, they tested some micro things that were like more like logical reasoning, because when you're studying, they tell you one thing, and then in the exam they tell you different thing, but you have to use your logic to get them correct. It wasn't like straightforward like that. Let's see this one. Okay, so Lydia, let's see. Doc, did you have to evaluate your transcript, and how helpful was your school as in dealing with your school and ECFMG to get the right document? Yeah, so I don't know. My school was in China, and Chinese system is very kind of difficult, but it wasn't too hard for me if you are able to get to the right people. In my school, like, one teacher is assigned to it. So when I got to the teacher and the ECFMG transmitted my document to them, I called the teacher and told him that my documents have been sent. Can you verify? And then she said, okay, give me a couple of days, and then she did it for me. So if you can identify the person who does it, it makes it easier. And then you can also tell them that it's urgent. You don't want to wait. As soon as ECFMG tells you that your documents have been sent to the school, you want to start calling your school to inform them. If you wait and you don't call your school, they will not know unless they go into the website. What happens is that the website, which is it a swap or something, there's this website that they use. So the website, over time, the code that they need, it expires, right? So it's not like a cell phone where it will give them a prompt that is an email that has come. So they need to regenerate a code from the ECFMG, and then they used to create a new account with a new password. After every 30 days, they need to create a new password for that website, for that account, right? So if you don't tell them and the account expires, they wouldn't know that ECFMG has sent your school any documents. So you have to call the school and let them know that your documents have been sent for verification, and they should do it for you ASAP. And I hope that should help a little bit. Yeah, keep calling the school. Okay. Let's see, next one. Everyone is saying Sketchy Micro is kind of outdated now, since step one is pass or fail. USMLE isn't using buzzwords anymore. Is that true? They are fading the buzzwords. Okay, they are fading the buzzwords out of the system, but I will still say study them. There were still a few buzzwords. There are still a few buzzwords, and the strategy is to know the description of the buzzwords. That's what they're going after now. So if I know the buzzwords, I want to learn its description, right? How would they describe the buzzwords? There was a point in my exam where in step one where I was not performing well, and one of the things that helped me was to write down the description of every buzzword I came across. What does it mean? How would they describe it? Because there's some UWorld questions that the answers are only description of the buzzword. So those questions, you want to write all of them down and learn them well. So yeah, they are fading, like they are stopping writing out the buzzword, but they are rather replacing that with the explanation of the buzzwords. Yeah, or the description of the buzzwords. So it's still buzzwords for me. Yeah. Now, they say Sketchy Micro is outdated. I don't know how Sketchy is going to be outdated, seriously. Sketchy Micro, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know how it's going to be outdated. And also, I know they update their videos. So if it's outdated, they are going to update the videos. They really update their videos. Yeah. And let's see the next question. Do you think it's mandatory to go twice over UWorld in order to get 245 plus on step 2 CK? No, it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory. But personally, I did my second pass of UWorld. I was at 43%. 43%. And I think that 43%, it took me like 2 weeks or so, 2 or 3 weeks to get there. So I wouldn't say that it's mandatory. It depends on how much info you are going to extract from your first pass of UWorld. If you can extract all the info and put them in your Anki flashcards and keep seeing them always, you don't need a second pass, right? My first pass, I think I got like 69% on my first pass, and during my second pass I got like 79% during my second pass. But I realized that during my first pass I wasn't making flashcards. So when I started doing my incorrect, that's when I started doing my flashcards. So from my incorrect, which were about 1,000 questions, I think there were about 1,000 questions, but when I started doing them and any question I missed, I put it in my flashcard. And then I started doing the second part, and then I started doing flashcards also. So I have 43% of the questions in my flashcard, and plus my incorrect also in my flashcards. And then I kept doing flashcards every day, almost every day. Almost. I didn't go like 3 days without doing flashcards. And that really helped to like cement the information in my brain. Yeah. So if you can do the first pass very well and extract the information into your flashcard and keep seeing the flashcard, there's no need for a full second pass. Yeah. So with the second pass, I'll say you are just using that to like test your stamina and test your test taking ability and test how the information will come to you easily. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. If anybody wants to share with us your test taking strategies or your studies strategies, you can use the link to just share your ideas with us. Don't be shy at all to join and talk to us. Okay, we are discussing and we are just talking. So don't be shy. Just join the chat room and talk to us freely. Feel free to talk. Okay. Someone should click the link below and just feel free to come and talk to us. You can just say shout out to everybody. That's enough, and then you can share with us your strategies that you used. I don't want it to like just be like only me sharing my strategies. At some point, would they become redundant? You don't know. It might. So if there's any addition, like and they say like two heads, they say it's better than one, right? So if you have anything that you want to share with us, let us know, please. Thank you for that. Let's see the CMS forms. Do you go over CMS forms? So all my incorrect questions that I got on my CMS forms were in my flashcards, my Anki flashcards. Every incorrect question was in my Anki flashcard. So yes, I think I went over it several times. But yeah. But I also say one thing, if I have to do step 2 again, I will only do CMS forms for the subjects that I'm weak at. Only the subjects I'm weak at. Did you do your incorrect or marked UWorld questions for step 2? Yes, very, very important. I did them. I made flashcards from those I missed again. and I kept reviewing them over and over. Yeah, so yes, I did it. Thank you, Jerry, and congratulations for your amazing score. Thank you so much. Thanks for your support, all of you, supporting me and praying for me. Thank you so much. If anybody has any other questions, you also want to share the link. If you can share the link on your social media platform for us, for anyone to join us, if you can share the link in your group, in your groups, you can share so that anyone who wants to join us can also join us. And thanks everybody for joining us today. I really appreciate all of you, and I want you all to know that it is possible. Just keep pushing, keep studying every day, keep doing your flashcards, and know that there is a bright light at the end of the tunnel for all of you. The only person who will not see that bright light is the person who gives up, the person who wakes up one day and say, I want to stop studying. I know a few people who have been studying and then they decided that they want to do PLAB rather. So they go and do PLAB rather. And those of us who started with them, now we've come this far. And I know definitely they'll look back one day and say, oh, I should have just continued the USMLE. Why? Because I know people who are from UK, who are doctors in the UK, and they are writing a USMLE to come to the US. You know, but people have different preferences, and I respect that. You know, yeah. But just keep pushing. It's very, very doable. Next question. Let's see. What did you use for pharm and physio for step 1? For pharm, I did not really use any results except the first aid. I was always going back to the first aid every now and then. When I miss any pharm question, I'll go back to the first aid and look at the others and try to make a mnemonic and all that, you know, like find a way to remember that most of the drug classes, like there's a word that maybe ends them, there's a word that begins them, there's a word that you can find in them, and once you see that word, you know that it belongs to this class. So if you can do that over and over, yes, you can. For physio, I use boards and beyond, mostly for physio, and like I'll keep watching over and over and make my notes from him, and they were helpful. Physio was also one thing that I had a good foundation already because I'm so curious and I really like to understand like everything. Like I'm very, very curious when it comes to physio. I want to understand every mechanism in the body. So if your physio is good, it means that your farm can also be good because your drugs are enhancing the physiology of the body or they're impeding the physiology of the body. So yes, I use the first aid for my farm and boss and beyond for physio. Let's see here. Can you share any contact details, whether an email or a number where it will be easier to reach you in future? Do you mind my Instagram? It's rolling at the bottom of the screen. Do you see it? Let's see. I want to see if I can open this. Okay. Yeah, my Instagram is rolling at the bottom of the screen. Do you mind? Um, I think it's very easy with Instagram, if you don't mind, Lydia. If you don't mind, my Instagram is right there rolling at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, so you can add me on Instagram. Yeah, all right. You can add me on Instagram, and then it will be very easy. A lot of people chat me from there, and it's more convenient for me as well. Um, yeah, and okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. And so yes, so if you are just joining us, we are discussing the USMLE step 1, step 2, step 3. Over here, I'm a recent test taker. Step 1 last year. Step 2 was this year in September. And yeah, step 2 was this year in September. And I'm currently applying for residency. I'm currently applying for residency and waiting for interviews. I got a couple of them though, but I didn't want to disclose the number because I didn't want to create panic out there. But I got a couple of interviews that are it's good. It's good. They are from great programs that I really wanted. I really wanted, and I made sure to apply in such a way that if I do not qualify for the program, I was not going to apply for it. Yeah. I shouldn't talk too much about that. But let's see the next question from Robin Hood. How many programs did you apply to and how much did that cost? Okay, this is, well, since I'm always transparent, I think this question wouldn't hurt anybody, so I can talk about it. So every program, it's like $26 on averagely. Every program that you apply to is $26. So, and then there are other things also that we need to pay. There were other things that we need to pay. That is part of the application process. But I applied to little over 100 programs. 100 programs that I qualify for all of them. I made sure that I qualify for all of them, and they were all top programs. So yes, and then it all costed me about $3,200, $3,200 to apply for all those programs. Yeah. Sometimes it's good to apply broad, and to programs that you think that best fits you. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. I don't want to go too much into that, yes, but just to give you an idea of what you should expect. Yeah. So yes, that's what I did. Yeah. We have any more questions? If not, it's almost 2 hours since we started this, and I hope we answered everybody's questions. My Instagram is down there below. If you need more information, you can text me on Instagram, and I'll be willing to answer your questions. Let me see. Yeah, so you can add me on Instagram, and I'll be willing to answer your questions over there. So let's see the last question from Robin Hood. Do you know if you can apply into soap match if you didn't apply for the main? Yes. If you did not apply for the main, you can apply for soap. Yes, you can apply for soap. If you did not apply for the main, then you can apply for soap. Yeah. And yeah. And so that should bring us to the end of today's session. I hope it was helpful. I want you all to know that it's doable. You can all do it. Next year, March, I want to see most of you applying. I want to see most of you ready to apply for residency. I want to see most of you being happy about your scores. And for those of you taking step 2, I would say try to find about 1 day in a week to rotate with the doctor, so that they can help you with letters of recommendation And then also you can practice your skills. Very important, very, very, very important during your application process. If you don't have those letters of recommendation, it makes things very difficult for you when you are applying. So because there are some people, because of letters of recommendation, they cannot apply for they cannot submit the application on time. And usually the programs see like they use like the first come first serve thing. So if you submitted your application on the 28th, somebody submitted it midnight, you must submit it by 9 a.m. So all those who submitted by 9 a.m. on the 28th of September, their application will be seen first. So if they're looking for 10 people and they've already gotten 10 people and you submitted yours the next day, they might end up not seeing your application at all, you know. Unfortunately for me, I had to submit my application on 29th, and because one of my letters of recommendation was not uploaded in time, so I submitted on 29th, and later on I added the letter of recommendation to it. But if you get them early enough, then your application does not delay, you know, and you have all the time in the world to also work on your letters of recommendation. So I would say it's better to start early. Just find out one day and work with a doctor, even if it's just 4 hours. You leave, you know, he knows you worked with him, you know. Yeah. Let's answer Robin Hood's last question. Are soap match same quality much as the yeah, of course. It's just like it's more like a mop up, you know. The soap is just like a mop up. It has nothing to do with the quality of the training that you are going to get. You'll be treated as someone who matched the first time, the same thing. The difference is, oh, let's mop up and see if there are some better applicants in there to come into our program. Also remember that there are some applicants who will match into a program, but they wouldn't come, like for visa issues. Somebody may fall sick, somebody may not get money for flight and all that. So there are a lot of things. Someone might match and they will not even choose that program, they will not even come at all. So yes, though the soap is there to make up for those things, you know. So yeah. Okay, thanks for your good work. And I'm at step 0. I like that term, step 0, and following your advice. Watching from Uganda. You are welcome. I really like the step 0 people, you know. Yeah, I really like the step 0 people. Yeah. So for the step 0 people, yes, just make your mind. Yeah, it's doable. Just make your mind, and it's doable. Okay, think about it carefully, plan well, and start a journey. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. Okay, so thanks everybody, and thanks for your time and everything. And I'll see you again. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll really appreciate it. Thanks, thanks for your time too. Thanks. You're all amazing. I really appreciate all of you. Okay, bye bye. I'll sign out right now. Bye bye.